Guys, we had some wild endings yesterday. We all know about what happened in the Russ game and all that. Let's roll that. And here's your play of the day. Wild week 2.
Browning, paintball. Oh, one hand. Are you serious? Mitchell Tinsley. To go win some of these fourth quarter tight ball games.
Oh, bad bounce goes through the hands of Caleb Johnson. He may have touched that ball. That would be a live ball. Let's see what the ruling is here. It is a touchdown.
Herringer gets it away. Another good boot driving Washington back. Washington to the house. Touchdown, Miami. Patterson to Gibson. You gotta be kidding me! Back to back!
The screen, the left tackle. Whoa!
Well, just when we were talking about how well Knicks has played this game. Wait.
Wilson protected. Heaving one. Wants Neighbors. Malik Neighbors! Touchdown Giants! He dropped it in the bucket! Aubrey, does he have enough? On the way. It is! Good! That's why they trusted him. Deep ball. Oh boy, threw it up for grabs and it's intercepted! Donovan Wilson. And it is over the top of the crossbar and no good.
Boy, when they call offsides on the Steelers, this play's going to go good.
Oh, yeah, because that gives you the foot down.
Offside. Defense over 23. 5-yard penalty.
Rhodes will snap. Sanchez will hold. And the kick is no good! Denver's gonna win! Denver's gonna win!
Is there a penalty down in the middle of the field? Right by the center.
Oh my goodness. It is against Denver.
Personal foul.
That's a huge. Oh my God, that is a huge penalty.
Spencer Schrader. It's good, and the Colts have won.
Sports welcomes you to the following presentation of the National Football League.
Fake it to Gibson, May moving, throwing, and it's caught for a touchdown! Matt Collins! Excellent first drive for him. Andy Borregales for the extra point off the upright and no good. May going for the corner of the end zone to Booty. Diving attempt, and he's got it! Attempt. Back out there again, and this one is no good. Tua taking a shot for the end zone. Waddle is down there. Touchdown! Jalen Waddle. Tua over the middle. Achane at the 20. Achane 10, 5. Achane spinning. Touchdown! Tua taking a deep shot, throwing it down the field for Hill, and he makes the adjustment in the catch. And finally, Phillips coming again. May steps up, throws. He's got Stevenson. What a catch! Down the sideline. Stevenson cuts it back, and he's still going. Ramondre. Nation 81 in blue. May pressure coming by Judon. May steps up, looking to keep it. May touchdown. Tua deep over the middle, too high. And Tyreek Hill was open. Snap in time. Tua nowhere to go. Now throws picked off. Intercepted on the play by Mapu. Morte Mapu on the INT. Tua locates Achane. Nice move by Achane. Hopping away from Mapu and still going. Achane, 10-5, touchdown. There. Play clock winding down. Tua on 4th down. Pressure coming. Tua in trouble. Down he goes. Milton Williams.
And with that, what is going on, guys? Welcome back to the Final NFL. Please like and subscribe if you guys enjoy the NFL Week 2 Sunday recap / highlights. You just saw the highlights from the Patriots and Dolphins game, which was the first. No, it wasn't the first. It was one of the first games to kick off on Sunday. And in that one, as you saw, there was a lot of bizarre things that happened with the back-to-back kickoffs. That's actually the only second time that's ever happened. Desmond Howard and Deion Sanders actually did it with the Falcons, and I don't even know who else played in that one. Yeah, Desmond Howard, Deion Sanders, back-to-back touchdowns. It was only incident was Commanders versus the Falcons in a while back. Anyway, though, this game specifically kind of was a microcosm of both these teams in terms of how I think they'll play this year. But overall, Patriots offensively had their best game since 2022, where they actually last time they scored 30 points, kind of telling you how the Dolphins have been. But anyway, they get their first win of the season, first win in Miami since I can't even tell you when. It's been a minute since they won in Miami. But again, it was back actually 2019. But still, 1-1. Again, they get the first win of the season. They will be heading, they'll actually be hosting the Steelers next week. Dolphins fall 0-2. They look like one of the worst teams in the NFL. They will be going to Buffalo for a short week on Thursday Night Football, so that is not good for them. With that said, though, I have a bunch of notes on this, so let's get into those. First off with the Patriots, although the Dolphins secondary was cheeks, I mean, guys, there's Dolphins secondary is absolutely awful. We all know that. Yeah, great precision on by Drake May. I really think, again, 19 of 23 obviously tells you a lot, but even though a lot of his throws were a lot of checkdowns and easy sort of reads, he was able to, again, put good accuracy and a lot of good pace on those passes, which I think was part of the reason he was so successful in this game. On top of that, though, run game did show some growth. I didn't think it was exactly the most effective run game overall, but the fact they were still able to get some efficiency out of it and, again, set up some of those other pass plays, I think was very, very good. Drake May obviously scored a rushing touchdown as well, so, again, you get that out of that as well. First game with a punt touchdown that I could get. I already talked about that. All right. They also scored on their first 3 drives. I mean, the Dolphins gave up scores in their first 3 drives, but you get the point. They scored in their first 3 drives. That usually never happens for the Patriots. Also, all the receivers sucked. Yes, Kayshon Boutte had a nice touchdown. Matt Collins also got a touchdown, but no receiver really played well whatsoever. Austin Hooper was the only guy actually even getting any separation. If it was not for Ramondre Stevenson's massive, 55-yard play, they would not have been good. O-line got horizontal displacement as well. I want to mention that for this team. Defensively, I'm going to be completely honest, guys. I didn't really watch much of this Patriots defense on film, so I don't have too much to take away other than the fact that Craig Woodson is their starting free safety from now on. Again, that's what I saw out of him. Milton Williams looked like all the money you paid him. Again, he had the game-clinching sack, and I might be a little bit wrong on him. He might actually be a pretty good player. I mean, I thought he was decent. I think he was a little bit overrated, though. We'll see what happens, though. Robert Spillane was a great blitzer. Harold Landry had a sack. That's all I got for them there. Andrew Borgils, I mean, bro, what are you doing? This game shouldn't have been this close. With that said, though, for Tua and the offense for the Dolphins, Tua really made some inexplicable mistakes. That's what I have on him. Again, that missed throw to Tyreek Hill, who absolutely went off in this game. Again, the numbers don't exactly say that, but he was getting wide open every play. Tua missed him like at least 3 times. That is inexcusable for him. That should have been a touchdown on the play where he underthrew him for a 47-yard play. But yeah, Tua, that throw at the end of the game, you got to make that. The pick was also horrible. Those are just 2 plays. I don't care that he went 26 of 32 for 315 yards. That Patriots secondary is not good. And the fact that, again, he still really struggled to make those big connections, I think is a huge issue. Overall, I still think he obviously has elite touch and accuracy. Again, we're talking about that. But did not look like that in this one. Inexplicable mistakes. If those don't get changed, this team will suck. Again, I don't think they'll be very good this season from what we've seen so far. But that was just inexcusable. That missed throw, again, any quarterback could make that throw, bro. There's really no excuse for that. On top of that, though, Hill actually got going. Yeah, I think Tyreek Hill had a phenomenal game. I mean, I really couldn't have asked much more from him. Again, he was getting open. Tua just didn't get him the ball. Running game. Yeah, that is an issue. There's really no other way around it. Ollie Gordon won't get 1 carry. May want to change things up. Nothing against Devon Achane, but, you know, we always think of more and more receiving back. Speaking of that, again, was a foot away from winning this game. Get Malik Washington more involved. Yeah, this is a guy that can just make plays. He was a good playmaker in the run game. As a receiver, only got like 2 or 3 targets. That's got to change. He's a better player than Dwayne Eskridge for sure. And then Nick Westbrook, I think he's probably definitely more capable receiver than Malik Washington overall. That doesn't mean he still can't get targets, though. Right side of the O-line wasn't completely dysfunctional. Yeah, they had their issues. Again, if you watched them, you knew there were definitely some bad things. They were also banged up. But again, overall, I don't think it was the end-all be-all for that. D-line won consistently. That is fair. I think they got some decent pressure overall. I just don't think it was exactly the most timely either. First downs, he starts with Tua. Their last time was 2019. Also, Tua was 7-0 versus the Patriots in his career. That streak was snapped. Chubb and Phillips were consistent. Chop was not yet. Chop Robinson, despite having a couple pressures and not having the, again, worst statistical numbers, he definitely didn't have his best game overall. And again, Riley Patterson was a decent kicker. Team stats, again, we look at it, the Dolphins had more yardage. Again, Patriots run game, I think, definitely made a difference. They also had time possession, but again, that pick at the end of the game was brutal, and Tua made some inexplicable mistakes, which is actually the reason they won this game, or lost this game. But if you're a Dolphins fan, you know that Tyreek Hill, at least from this game, looked like an absolute elite receiver. That's what I took away from the Dolphins, despite, a lot of their struggles. They're going to have to play a lot better, though, on Thursday night if they want any shot even being competitive in that game. Patriots, nice win. Try to, again, get your first home win of the year next week. That's all I got for this one. Now let's get to a game that was equally as wild as this one.
Open and orange is the theme for the home opener in Cincinnati. Takes the snap. Lawrence, pocket, rifles, back of the end zone, holding De'Ami Brown. There's that pressure from Hendrickson. Gets rid of it and intercepted. That all started from the pressure, and Dax Hill dances.
The screen.
From the 4, slant, chase, cha-ching. Second down and 7. Check down. What a move by Turton. Oh my! Scoots into the end zone. De'Ami Brown in motion. 3rd and 6. Flag out at the start of the play. Tipped and intercepted. 53 yards from here. Browning. Pressured in his face, and he throws an interception. Lawrence deep drop back. Slides through one. Eyes down the field. Launches. Thomas there. Deflected away, but nearly caught up. Rolls to the right, off the bat. Foot throw is intercepted. Across the body throw. Andrew Wingard all over it. And the former Etienne in motion. They throw it that direction with Brown leading the way. Blocking. Etienne turns up the field. Touchdown Jacksonville. 3rd down. Browning to the air. Higgins bumps. Doesn't matter. Touchdown Bengals. Browning over the middle, intercepted. Devin Lloyd, the linebacker for the Jaguars. Ultra aggressive, they do snap it. Does it pay off for Cohen? It's dropped. Oh, it was in the hands of Thomas. They do snap it. Browning to Brown. There's the first down. On 4th and 5 with the star receivers on the far side, he goes near side. Yosevash, penalty marker in. He was targeting Travis Hunter. A sneak again over the top. Touchdown Bengals. They have the lead with 18 seconds left.
The Jags got thrown out of bounds here. A good old hook and ladder.
Side. And without any timeouts left, that could do it.
While the game itself was awesome, this really just came down to the fact that, the Bengals season is over. I mean, I don't want to say it is, but it is. I do think Jake Browning is a top 5 backup in the NFL. I think that is very, very fair to say. I'm just, again, trying to address the elephant from the loop. We'll get into the game in a second. But again, Joe Burrow with his pinky, little toe injury. He's out 3 months, though, with the surgery he's about to get for the turf toe. So he won't be back until probably late December. I'm not ruling him out being for the whole season, but it's pretty much that. But Jake Browning is a very competent backup. I think he'll be able to move the offense. The issue is, I think that they'll run into similar to what they had in 2023, is if he turns over the ball and this offense isn't consistent or just isn't rolling, they will get their absolute arses kicked. I don't know about next week considering who they're playing, but there will be games in the future where they just aren't remotely competitive because of that limitation. But I still think there's going to be games where, again, if this offense is consistent, they get into a rhythm, Jake Browning will be completely fine. But I think he is a guy who turns over the football. We all know that. There will be games when they're not playing the Jacksonville Jaguars and they won't be able to, again, their margin for error will be a lot more slim and they will get their absolute butts kicked like I just said. But for the Bengals, though, they're 2-0 now. First 2-0 there ever with Joe Burrow. I mean, there was a silver lining to it again. Always got to have struggles in the first couple weeks. But they will be heading next week. If I can remember, they're playing the... How am I just not... This just isn't coming to my head. They're playing the... they're going to Minneapolis to play the Vikings, so that'll definitely be a tougher game. But still, backup quarterback battle. That'll be fun. But, yes, for the Bengals. That's what they're doing next week. But, I completely forgot the train of thought there yet. First 2-0 start since 2018. First time with Joe Burrow. Jaguars, on the other hand, we'll get into their notes, but that was a frustrating loss for me. They had to take a really good chance to take advantage. Now they're playing a Texans team next week that they haven't beaten Duval since 2017. Whatever. We'll get to that later. That's a prediction preview sort of thing. But anyway, for the Jags, this is a missed opportunity. I just said a frustrating loss. They should have won this game. I think Liam Cohen, that was a very ill-advised decision on his part. Again, I understand you want to be aggressive, but that was not the play call, to say the least. Trev was calculated aggressive, but play calling wasn't entirely planned. Well, I just didn't really love like the timing of some of their play calls. Definitely later in the game, not just that 4th and 5. But yes, I do think that Trevor Lawrence, despite those 2 picks, was calculating his risk or aggression, which I think is a much bigger growth. Even though again he wasn't exactly too aggressive last year than what we've seen in the past. Again, a lot of ill-advised throws. I gotta admit that a lot in terms of his reads, but he was still trying to put the ball in harm's way, which isn't actually a bad thing. I gotta say, again, I like the aggression, Trevor. I like the fact that you were like pretty decent, educated with what you're trying to do with that. But again, the picks were kind of inexcusable at times. But overall, I still like what Trevor did. I just don't think the play calling was great to match that. O-line did a great job hammering away and building up pockets off of the man blocking audibles. Yeah, that is true. Trevor called a lot of man audibles on the O-line, and they did a very good job adjusting to that. Also, Travis Etienne just looks like a different player than what we've even seen the past 2 years. Bashard Toon looking now and keep getting them carries, obviously. Outside of that, though, Travis Hunter is not getting open. I mean, that's just a simple truth there. He got like 6 targets. I think he didn't do anything. He just not a good start to his career, to say the least. Diamond Brown, other than the drop, did a good job. Yeah, he just straight up got open, and I really can't say you asked for more. Parker Washington is a dog as well. Reactionary approach on D was less of a continuous process, like in terms of, again, that being a sustainable identity for them, and more of a product of pass rush success. Whenever they got success on pass rush, it was either I don't know, like it was either Trayvon Walker, sometimes Josh Hines Allen, but I'd say more Devon Hamilton from the interior. Guys like the linebackers and guy like Devin Lloyd really just was able to play off that and again make plays in coverage. But if that didn't happen, it was kind of a struggle. And then they tried to manufacture pressure with some simulated pressures and some blitzes, but that really didn't work too well after a while either. Anyway, though, for the Bengals, but yeah, Jake Browning can prove himself as a backup. Yeah, the 3 picks were not good. A couple of them were just, what the hell was that? But again, he's going to have to definitely clean that up. But again, the fact that he, again, led those drives just tells you can run this offense pretty good. Jamar, yeah, I mean, that's not a verb or grammatically correct verb, but that is probably the way I'd describe it. 14 for 165 and a touchdown. No really glamorous plays, but he just straight up got open and he ate. All right, O-line didn't sustain blocks consistently at all. I think that, yeah, that's part of the running game. The reason the running game was so bad. Very little yards before contact, so that's just placement to speak of. I'm talking about vertical and horizontal. Just didn't see much of that at all, on film at least. And also the yards before carry statistically weren't there as well for Chase Brown. I think he didn't have a great game himself, but their offensive line didn't really do anything to really make it any better or worse. I don't know. They kind of sucked. Higgins wasn't great accelerating to be able to get to his spot of success, which is basically means that touchdown he had, he was able to get to his spot where he was able to again win that 50-50 ball. That really didn't happen consistently. That's part of the reason he probably didn't have a bigger game. But still, he had a big touchdown. You can't really ask for much more. Mitchell Tinsley is a highlight reel as well. Demetrius Knight Jr., the rookie, he played out of his mind. Great game from him. Zach Taylor has to call a more balanced game plan. Again, I like the fact they ran the ball 16 times, but it's got to be in better spots. Again, it was kind of just like throwaway downs. I don't know what they were trying to do there. No pressure, only Hendrickson. That is true as well. I didn't really know what they were doing with the rest of the pass rush because Trey Hendrickson was really the only guy making plays. Anyway, though, nice defensive awareness from the secondary. Hopefully they play better next week. And, yeah, that's what I got in this game.
It's an AFC North battle. It's the Ravens hosting the Cleveland Browns. The kickoff from M&T Bank Stadium. On first down, Jackson. He's under pressure, and he's going down. Myles Garrett. He's been busy today. Both punters have been rather busy. Oh, it's blocked. And the Ravens will pick it up. First down for the 25. They give it to Henry, and Henry powers his way forward. And he's inside the 15. He fumbled the ball.
Also by them.
On second down and 1 off the play fake. Lamar looking to throw. Throws toward the end zone. Caught. Touchdown, Baltimore.
He does this so well and then finds
opening. He runs up and throws toward the end zone. Caught. Touchdown, Ravens. Blitz. Roquan picked up for a moment. Flacco rolling, and he throws on the run, and it's intercepted. Nate Wiggins.
Get it. The Browns are pinned back.
Jackson rolling. Jackson looking to the back of the end zone. Caught. Touchdown, Walker. Flacco's in a little bit of trouble. He's going to run it. He doesn't run it that often, but he's got a first down. And as he slides, he was hit, and here comes the flag. Flacco out of the gun, looking to throw. Throws to the right. It's up for grabs, and it's caught. It was deflected. It was deflected by Humphrey and caught for a touchdown. Steps up in the pocket. He loves to run up and throw. He's under pressure and throws, and it's caught. What a diving catch forward. Jackson looking to throw, looking toward the end zone. It's caught! Touchdown, Walker! All he does is score touchdowns. It's collapsing. He's sacked and he lost the...
Up out.
Flacco zips one, looking up. He was intending it for Judy, and TJ Tampa timed the swat. On 2nd and 10, they're going to throw it again for Hopkins, and DeAndre Hopkins has got it. On 1st down, they'll give it off to Judkins. Judkins lowers his shoulder, still on his feet, inside Ravens territory, protecting the football. Gabriel to throw, under 2 minutes to play, throwing toward the end zone, caught. Sampson, the first touchdown pass for...
This one should be pretty quick as the Ravens bounce back from whatever that game was last week in Buffalo as they blow the doors off the Browns 41-17. It wasn't your typical blowout, but it was still a blowout nonetheless. They will be hosting the Lions on Monday Night Football next week in a monster showdown. Browns, well, you got the Packers next week. Good luck. Anyway, though, Browns takeaways. Flacco didn't get off off strong side reads, which costed them significant yardage. I think that is true. I'm not acting like these. There we go. I'm not acting like these Browns receivers are anything special, but the fact that, again, there were some guys, especially like Jamari Thrasher, I got to give a shout out for in a much better game than week 1, was getting open consistently on that weak side. The fact that, again, Joe Flacco would not get him the football or even look to him was a very big issue. Again, he just didn't have a very good game at all, and again, it just kind of reflects the fact that he's old, he's slow, and he's not exactly always the most great, again, kind of trying to lift his ceiling in this offense. Running game never had a chance to get going because of the O-line was so bad on 1st down. The offensive line, I think, was actually, like, they did absolutely nothing on 1st down. If it was not for Quinshon Judkins' one big run, they would have been a lot worse. They could not run the ball on 1st down, and it was a major issue. That's why Dylan Sampson, 4 carries for 6 yards, didn't do anything. Quinshon Judkins is obviously their best running back, though. I don't think it takes any expert to know that. Isaiah Bond looked rusty. I think that's just the best way to put it. His release was very shaky. He didn't really get that many routes, but he just didn't really look at the guy that I think he is. Again, I don't think he's some phenomenal receiver or anything, but he's definitely a guy that can make a difference in this offense. Jack Conklin had a strong standout game. I wouldn't say it was a crazy good game, but from what I saw on film, he was definitely catching my eye consistently. Dylan Gabriel, first career touchdown, good for him. He operated the offense well on that again, garbage time drive. We'll see how, again, that changes throughout the rest of the season. For defense, held him to three-score loss. Again, this is 24 points. If you don't know, you can score 8 points on one drive, so that is a 3-score loss, which, again, hey, that's all you can really ask for. Derek didn't play. No, that's we'll get to that in a minute. That's all I got there, right? No, right? Did I miss anything? Oh, yeah. Derek didn't get going at all. Yeah, that's really the only good thing they did on defense, to be honest with you guys. They didn't let Derrick Henry get going. But Devin Bush was a dog without the W, considering, they got blown out. And the O, because that was his grade in coverage. He was absolutely a donut in coverage. I don't think he was actually too terrible because he actually blitzed pretty well. But, yeah, that coverage grade is not going to be pretty. Greg Newsome was burnt toast. He actually looked like awful. Like, you don't understand, guys. He got targeted like 10 times. He had a terrible game. He was just getting beat every single play. Not a good showing from him. Grant Delpit, you missed like 3 tackles, but at least, again, I don't know, maybe Derrick Henry being an easy tackle is true. Schmidt didn't suck as well, so I guess you had that. Again, he made all 3 of his kicks. For the Ravens, back-to-back 40 burgers for the first time since Week 14 through Week 15 of 2020. That's when, again, this offense was broken. And then even more broken was 2019 when they had 3 straight games for 40-point games from Week 10 to Week 12. They blew all those teams out. Again, I think it was like the Bengals. That was Lamar Jackson's infamous run. The Rams got blown out in there somewhere as well. I think the Texans too. That's all I got there, though. Lamar might be better than last year. I really think so because passing-wise, the placement on the balls was literally just about as good as you can get. Hopkins should have had 2 touchdowns. He kind of got sharked in that other one. That should have been a touchdown. Again, they really didn't get a touchdown out of that, but that was a phenomenal play on Lamar's part and obviously Hopkins' part as well. And he had another great touchdown as well. Tez Walker, he was plus 1,900. I don't want to get into betting, but that is pretty good odds for a touchdown game. Make that 2 actually for him, and he has 3 career catches. All of them touchdowns. The other touchdown was against the Giants in Week 15 last year, which was also a blowout win. O-line, what did I even write there? Dominated. Yeah, that's fair. They were pretty good. I mean, maybe not the running game considered. Derrick Henry, 11 carries, 23 yards. But still, they were really good in passive blocking. Roquan, second career touchdown, pick 6 versus the Bengals. Week 2, 2021. Yeah, that was a lot of scooping through. And then the secondary was a lot better than last week. Realistic, guys, though, this is going to be a game that no one really is going to remember. Tyler didn't suck. Good for the Ravens for getting a blowout win, kind of a comfortable one. But again, it was like 13-3 at some point in the third quarter, so it wasn't, again, a complete runaway from the start. But until we talk about the Ravens and Browns separately next week, that's all I got in these two teams. Now let's get to my Rams game.
Which means it's the Music City debut of this year's #1 overall pick, quarterback Cam Ward. 16. Nakua shifting. Rush is coming. Ward running. First down by Evans.
Yeah, when you come back towards your own goal line, you're not...
And you could get hangry. Ward.
Oh, nice call! He drops it in the bucket!
Trouble. Trying to set up receivers. He's going to throw against his body to the end zone!
Caught! Touchdown! Spectacular!
These guys after the Week 1 loss. Stafford throws it. Intercepted! Cody Barton. First and goal from the Tennessee 8. Fake the handoff. Protection is there. Stafford, touch pass. It's caught. Not quite enough. Ward steps up, goes down, loses the ball. Bounces around. The Rams have got it. Stafford tosses. End zone. Touchdown. Davante Adams. New set of downs at the 49. Stafford tall in the pocket. Downfield, catch made, Whittington. And again, it's Corum. He pounds it inside for the touchdown. New GM is Mike Borgonzi in his first year. Ward just tosses it ahead.
But I can see your shadow.
And the Rams headed to Nashville for a business trip against the Titans, and despite it being a 13-16 Titan lead in the third quarter, the Rams played their brand of football, and losing Akel Witherspoon, their #1 cornerback, to a broken clavicle in the process, were able to knock the Titans off pretty handily. It could have been 40-19 as well, but Rams moved to 2-0. This is a very fun start, even though again the game was a little bit stressful. But they will be heading to Philly next week in a game that I will be very, very bold on, to say the least. Meanwhile, the Titans are 0-2. Brian Callen is not a good NFL head coach. I don't call for jobs though, so I'm not going to get into that. They will be hosting the Colts next week in what will be an Indiana Jones versus nonchalant Dreadhead showdown. Yeah, I'm going to try to spin it like that. It's actually a pretty fun game to talk about. With that said, though, for the Rams, started slowish again. Can't happen next week. Yeah, I don't think that's going to happen. But if it does, yeah, that wouldn't be good. Wait, where? I didn't put a parenthesis on the end of this. Whatever, though. For Puka, he did show out. He had a 45-yard touchdown on the first drive, and he also was 8 for 91 as a receiver. So pretty darn good. He's obviously our best player, you could argue, in the entire roster, and he looked like it. But Davante Adams cooked up 6 for 106 and a touchdown. He obviously is very, very good. Fun battle between Adams and Snead as well. L'Jarius Sneed really didn't have that great of a game, but at the same time, he looked like that #1 cornerback overall, even though he had a lot of penalties and he kind of looked a little bit like he didn't care. But still, him and Davante had a fun matchup that game. Great, important effort. On PAT from rookie, Terrence Ferguson. There we go, rookie tight end, second-round pick, right? He might not be a second-round pick, but he was definitely picked high. But the reason that was important was that would have made it a 10-point game, and then that would have swung momentum and stuff, and that wouldn't have been good. All right, for this defense, I was so enamored, I think that's the right word, for Byron Young, who, again, is obviously developing. But that was an absolute phenomenal inside counter to get the strip sack on Cam Ward. Like, I can't even talk much about that. That was like one of the most beautiful plays I've seen on film in a minute. Akello, yeah, that's a bad injury. But that's again, the Rams are one of the deeper teams in the NFL. Let's see how that works out. But yes, Emmanuel Forbes did not play well once he came out. Other than that, though, would have scored 40, as I said. Nate Landman's obviously the landman as well. For the Titans, though, Cam extended well. I don't think he had his best game overall. They definitely limited what he could do as a passer. There were a lot of plays where like that could have been open, but again, they didn't really have that play in the books there. But or in the plans, there we go. But yeah, he definitely extended well. It wasn't easy for the Rams to exactly contain him very consistently, especially in that one touchdown he threw. Other than that, though, Ridley wasn't used. They just didn't use him. AGOW Manor might be the best receiver, though, because he actually made plays. What else happened? Pollard had a good effort. Again, fantasy-wise wasn't fantastic, but he ran the ball pretty decent. Not, like, great, considering it was most of his garbage time. But still, he ran pretty well overall. Defense was very undisciplined, didn't adjust in the third quarter. I don't know what the hell they were doing, guys. That defensive performance was very bizarre to me. They weren't exactly terrible, but like other than like the Cody Barton interception, there was really no thing schematically they were superior to the Rams really at all in this game. And it was kind of like they were reacting to everything, which was just very bizarre that your defense coordinator would go with that game plan. O-line wasn't that bad. Yeah, they weren't good, obviously. They get a lot of pressure, but they were better than they were last week for sure. And D-line got moved in the fourth quarter. They got absolutely tossed by that Rams O-line. Again, Connor Williams' numbers look a little bit pretty because, again, last drive they had like 30 yards. But Blake Corum was good on the last drive. Again, they just kind of ran the ball down their throats on those last couple drives there. Haven't won a home game since Week 10 versus the Patriots since 2024. And it was Week 9, my bad. First block PAT since Week 6 2023. That was from D'Anthony Gautry in London from the Titans. Again, that was the PAT they blocked again last time that happened. Also, Titans have not won a game. They're on an 8-game losing streak since Week 12 last year. That was Thanksgiving weekend against the Texans, so it has been a minute. But team stats, the Rams had 440 yards of offense, and they were pretty darn good. But be more balanced next week, please. Kyron have a big game against the Eagles, and we'll check a bit back in on these teams in a little bit. But with that said, let's get to a game that had a lot of shenanigans.
In the 21-year career of Aaron Rodgers, only twice before today as he started in Pittsburgh, and today it's a home debut. Now, Darnold floats it, open man, it's a touchdown! And Seattle jumps out in front on the first NFL catch for Torrey Horton. We'll see. 2nd and 9. Flip it out for Warren. Space with a hurl. They protect against Watt. Downfield shot for Kupp, and Jalen Ramsey steps in front of his former Rams teammate and takes it away. Veteran kicker doinks it off the upright. Fake it to Charbonnet. Hayward bringing heat. Tapped it into the air. Picked off by Pittsburgh. And it's Nick Herbig in his season debut with 5 seconds left. It's Rodgers. Floats it. End zone for Metcalf. It is caught for the touchdown. Darnold here. Over the middle. It's a touchdown. A.J. Barner. Early pressure. Rodgers to his left, on the move, corner of the end zone, and it's picked off by Darion Kendrick. Seattle avoids disaster on 3rd down. Now play action, shot downfield. Smith in Jigba's got it against Ramsey. And they're going to keep it conservative for Myers. Walker on the run. He may bust a touchdown. He will. Solid roll in Seattle. This is a big play. That's huge to get it downfield to Austin at the 46-yard line. Seahawks have the Saints at home next week. Rodgers downfield looking for Austin, picked up by Kobe Bryant. Number 8 picks off number 8.
I must admit the taste of it is keeping me.
And the Seahawks, traveling from the Northwest to Pittsburgh, were able to get a big-time win, despite maybe not the greatest offensive performance in the first half, with a 31-17 dictative win as they move, or they don't move. They get their first win of the season. They will be hosting the Saints next week, who, again, have not had the greatest start. Meanwhile, the Steelers, well, their defense and their offense have many concerns, and they got to figure it out because they're going to New England next week. With that said, though, for the Seahawks, Kupp support makes this offensive identity more believable. Again, last week it was really just JSN. Cooper Kupp had a decent game. That helps things out on top of the fact that Kenneth Walker had his best game, at least efficiency-wise, since 2023. Yeah, like I said, he showed up. Charbonnet couldn't get going. I mean, 15 carries for 10 yards. Yeah, that's like a Saquon Barkley worst career game sort of stat line. Because, again, when Saquon's bad, he is bad. But that's very rare. O-line, as a whole, moved together. Again, that's kind of hard to describe, but just what I saw on film was they were just collectively moving as a whole, which is just something we have not seen from this offensive line. Again, it's not really a bad thing, but something that we haven't seen as a run game in a really long time. Again, I think we're going back to like 2015 when that was like a goal of theirs. Ernest Jones was booty in coverage. Yeah, he was absolutely trash, but he still had 10 tackles and really was pretty good as a blitzer, so I don't really care. Secondary was on locks. Yeah, they absolutely shut down those Seattle receivers. And yeah, DeMarcus Lawrence had a quiet game. He really didn't do a hell of a lot. Wait, there we go. All right, on top of that, though, we go to the Steelers side now. Other than that, though, I don't have any notable performances. Yeah, Byron Murphy cooked up. The whole D-line played well. But yeah, for the Steelers, offense is extremely flawed. I mean, I don't know what else to tell you guys. Their running game was just crap. No receiver got open even remotely. And Aaron Rodgers, not some ill-advised throws to say the least. But yeah, they can't run the ball. Many miscues up front and an ineffective zone blocking scheme. I don't know why Arthur Smith isn't insisting this isn't this. Again, the Falcons in 2022, we have like 2 of the 3 best run blockers in the NFL at the time. Again, not consistently, but they have the potential to be those guys. And again, Tyler Alligator, who just reads those almost as good as, I don't know, maybe like Derrick Henry. So again, the fact that again is just what he's trying to push the envelope on is just kind of weird. Especially with what they had last year as a run game. Other than Warren, plays were just there's no explosiveness again. Other than his like 65-yard catch and run beastquake play, which you saw in the highlights, really wasn't there. In terms of the explosiveness, is the defense not good? I think that is a warranted question. They were bad in this game, just straight up they were. Again, I haven't seen them gave up 24 points. They really weren't stopping much at all. Jalen Ramsey, bad play, gap and coverage despite the interception. You just can't give that up. They were playing pretty well in the first half, not amazing, but pretty well. But again, that second half was definitely concerning. Chuck Clark got abused against the run. It was just play after play after play. They were running right at him. Couldn't take on a block, missed a tackle. He just got ran into a lot, and especially in yak yardage situations, wasn't always greatest, but he did wrap up pretty decent in a couple of those, so I'll mention that, so not completely bashing him. Patrick Queen was the only plug. What I mean by that is, that touchdown that Kenneth Walker scored in the fourth quarter, that was because, Patrick Queen kind of got blocked there. When he wasn't getting blocked, he was completely stuffed in the run. Not consistently, though. No, he was pretty consistent. Ramsey simply wasn't used right. I think that is fair. They kind of tried to stick him in the starter role, but then they realized, yeah, we kind of need someone to play in the boundary. I don't know what they were trying to do with him. That's why probably one of the reasons he gave that big play. TJ had a weird game, but looked good on film. Yeah, I didn't hate the way he played, even though the numbers weren't amazing. He still had a pretty solid game. And then run game was not non-existent as I just said. And yeah, no, that's for the next game. Yeah, secondary isn't trusting each other. That's probably again what if you watch I don't know, some of those big plays the Seahawks had, that was probably why. And then Caleb Johnson had his rookie moment on that kickoff play. But yeah, 400 yards of offense for the Seahawks. Solid game, just don't blow it next week. And I got the Steelers falling in this one and all that. All right, now let's get to a game where it's just an explosion of points from the line. So they were angry.
What an atmosphere here in Detroit as Ben Johnson returns. The former Lions offensive coordinator will face his mentor, Dan Campbell, and the Detroit Lions. Goff with time on first down. It's complete. Amon-Ra St. Brown. Brought down inside the Bears 30. 2 tight end set, 2nd and 5. Inside the 5, gives to the end zone. Touchdown. It's on 3rd and long. It is complete. It's inside the 10 to the end zone. Touchdown. From the 1, here is Montgomery. The Bears. So impressed to see him back on the field. Here's Swift once again. Suffered a broken leg last year. Bates from 55. It is wide to the left. Be surprised. Williams in trouble. Rolling right.
Not bad.
And then it is Kirby Joseph. Did he stay in bounds?
He's going to go out there and block his tail off.
Goff's pass is complete and taken into the end zone. The Doomsday in motion. 1st and goal. Fake toss. Williams looking end zone. Throws. Touchdown.
Yeah, they're just not playing for the field goal only.
There's Goff. Oh, he does it again. Goff for the end zone. Touchdown, St. Brown. Goff complete. Jameson Williams across midfield. Still going. Inside the 30. Cuts to the inside.
You're not going to.
4th down and 5 for Chicago. Pass was deflected and then nearly picked off. 8. Goff going deep. Williams, touchdown.
They really are intense about being great.
Now here's Gibbs. Inside the 20, finally shoved out of bounds. Goff to the end zone. St. Brown. Touchdown! Will Swift walks it in for a Bears touchdown. 4th and goal, fake to Montgomery, to St. Brown, into the end zone. His 3rd touchdown today.
First we ever met.
All right, the Bears suck. I mean, that's the first thing I have. They've lost actually 12 out of the last 13 games, if you didn't know. But it really doesn't matter because they got their absolute arses kicked against the Lions, who put up 52 points. And Ben Johnson's return, that was just not good for them. Lions, big bounce back win, though. You got an even bigger game next week, though, in Baltimore for Monday Night Football. A little bit of a break. See if you guys can figure that one out. Bears, though, you got a pretty big game next week. You might want to win it against the Cowboys in front of the whole country. But, yeah, this was an ugly one to say the least. For the Bears, though, Caleb looked about how he did Week 16 last year when they played the Lions. He, again, did not look good in that game. The numbers weren't completely terrible. Again, they benched him for Tyson Bagent. Again, he didn't play well. Again, he got benched. There's a reason for that. Run game was non-existent. Yeah, that's where I wanted it. Again, I understand DeAndre had some garbage time yards and stuff, but he was not good. Yeah, Doomsday was great. He had a phenomenal game. I mean, there's really no complaints to have from him. He was just consistently adjusting to the ball, ran some very precise routes. But it really doesn't matter when no one else is doing anything, and your entire offensive line just gets blown up every play, and your defense is literally paper mache. All right, all those things roasted, though. Luther Burden, Coach Levin, the rookies, looked lost out there. They just weren't really picking up their assignments. Again, 1 catch for 5 yards between them. 18 pre-snap errors that led to blown coverage in the secondary. That is what I counted. Usually there's like 3 per game, and even then that's like rare. Like those 3 are usually 1 gets picked on, the other 2 are like it really wasn't a part of the play. But 18 is like I've counted more before. There's been worse games, but if you want a reason for why this defense was so abysmal in coverage, that's why. The linebackers, Brisker included, were the only ones making tackles every play. Everyone else was not. That's probably the best way to put it. Legitimately didn't have 1 pressure. Yeah, their pass rush was non-existent. Again, I don't want to use that word like interchangeably, but there's really no other one. They didn't get a single pressure, guys. Like, they legitimately didn't get one. That's so hard to do. Like, literally, let's say like their freaking Tate Ratledge makes a bad adjustment on a block. That is where you get a pressure. Something stupid like that. Bootleg, free rusher. Nothing. Again, that's more of the Lions, like, good for them, but, like, not really. Like, the Bears' pass rush was awful. But anyway, for the Bears, the Lions, Jared Goff turned into his usual performance. I mean, again, I'm not saying this is every single game, but there are games where he puts up these sort of statistically Nintendo numbers. Week 2 wins since 2022. Yeah, they've struggled on offense in week 2. Again, you look at they lost in overtime back in 2023, 2024. They didn't play well. Let's put it like that against the Bucs. They ended up winning the next 11 games, but still, 2022 they had a decent offensive performance. 8 touchdowns. They got like a touchdown or 2 in that one. That's besides the point, though. They didn't even try when they ran the ball. Yeah, this running game they ran the ball at will and they really didn't even try. The offensive line really wasn't moving like anything like that. It was just like a straight up just dominant run game, and the Bears didn't do anything to stop it. I guess. I don't know if the offense is adaptable because of this now. I don't know. But yeah, they just simply were off the charts good. Yeah, Sewell cooked. Like, he was like he actually had a field day. Yeah, and everything worked. So again, how does this offense adapt? I really don't know because everything they did worked. Like, it was one of those games. D got the week off. Yeah, literally the defense didn't have to do much. Pressure was actually pretty good though. Anyway, though, that's all I got on this game. It wasn't too straightforward, but it was. Again, this was just a funny game to watch. All right, though, let's get to a game that was a little more ugly, but still had some good competitive play.
Welcome you to New Orleans, Louisiana, where the Saints are home to take on the San Francisco 49ers, where Christian McCaffrey and the Niners look for win number 2.
Off the play action, Rattler going down the sidelines, one-on-one coverage for Rashid Shaheed, and a one-arm grab for Shaheed with a flag down. Blake Grupe from 40 yards, and that field goal is no good. To the left, caught, Farrell rumbling towards the goal line. Luke Farrell with his first NFL touchdown.
Just helping Luke Farrell get across that goal line.
And new kicker Eddie Pinheiro misses
the extra point. Rattler, pressure coming, floats it down the sideline, one-on-one for Johnson, makes the adjustment, it's a touchdown! And here it comes, Mac Jones in a clean pocket, floats it for McCaffrey, makes the catch, touchdown, San Francisco! Jones off the play fake, pressure coming, ball is in the air, it is loose on the turf. Who's got it? Demario Davis trying to scoop it up.
Scores from, so don't hold back.
Rattler on the roll, fires, Shaheed, caught a touchdown! Second and 4, Rattler to Kamara, look at that catch, he caught it on his shoulder pad and then the ball comes out.
So special to see the impact we can have.
Yep, no doubt about that as they find Jennings running free. Juwan Jennings gonna take it in. One's on first and goal. Rattler on a quick toss to the end zone. It is caught. Touchdown, New Orleans, Devon Vele. Continue. 4th and 2. Pressure coming. Ball is out. Loose on the turf. Diving for it is Ruiz, but it will not matter.
Your shadow only for the night.
All right, you probably weren't expecting Mac Jones to have to play that well, but they did need that as the Niners hold on with a Saints fourth quarter burst. Again, similar to what they had last week, that being for the Saints against the Cardinals. As they move to 2-0, they're now 2-0 with both games on the road for the third time in the last decade. The other times they did it was 2019, 2021. Again, they both went to the NFC Championship those years. Saints, meanwhile, they fought 0-2. First time that has happened since 2017. They have now lost 7 straight games. Spencer Rattler is the first quarterback to lose their first 8 starts since Deshaun Kaiser, who did that back in 2017. Again, the infamous Browns 0-17 and all that. But for the Saints, they will be heading to Seattle next week. The Niners will be hosting the Cardinals in a 2-0 NFC West battle. With all that said, though, for the Niners, this game was too close. I think that's pretty fair to say. We'll lose it on whatever if they don't close out drives in the fourth quarter. Mac Jones, for as good as he played, he struggled to connect with receivers on those crucial third downs and the last 2 drives. If he was able to make those plays, I think they would have won this game a little bit more comfortably. But that really doesn't matter because they still won. But if that happens next week, again, Mac Jones will definitely be starting in that one. They will lose that game against the Cardinals. I'm not saying, again, the Cardinals have their own issues, but still, they got to be able to close games out a little bit more comfortably. I like the light CMC usage. Get Robinson the ball. Yeah, power formation carries on critical situations a little bit. Again, not too much because, again, you don't want to be taking Christian McCaffrey out of those situations too often. But still, I like the light usage. You don't want to overuse him, especially with the injury history. Yeah, it's pretty crazy. He's the only guy that's healthy. Offense can really healthy. Juwan Jennings can serve as their number 1 wide receiver. I don't know if he's probably not a true number 1 guy, but he can serve that role. He showed that today, yesterday, especially against a defense that might be a little bit underrated. Ricky Pearsall, he had a decent game. Again, continues to show flashes. Fred Warner should win Defensive Player of the Week. Again, he was absolutely just all over the place and just mauling every play. Crazy good game from him. And then Bosa obviously balled out with the secondary getting approval from me. All right, for the Saints, Rattler can't buy a win. Yeah, that's just the best way to put it for him. Again, his numbers were very good. He looked solid on film. Again, at this point, they're going to just have to win a game on the road. It's pretty simple, I guess. Kamara had his best game ever versus the Niners. He never plays good against the Niners. This was his best game by a landslide. I will get him a little bit more downfield in those targets, though. Receivers were blanketed with a limited game plan. I don't know what they're trying to do there. None of these receivers really were put in a spot to consistently get open downfield. Outside that one Rashid Shaheed play, didn't really know what was going on with that. Several what did I even write there? Several quality run fits gave the converted impact run stops for multiple defenders at the first and second levels. Basically, what that means is they fit the run really well. I didn't know why I wrote that much. I think it was probably because I was breaking it down. That was my other sheet. Whatever though. Kool-Aid, he did play well. Best game I've seen out of him in a minute. And then what else happened? 7-game losing streak, yeah, all that. And then 0-2, all that. Kendrick Miller didn't have the same burst as he had last week. And Niners, all that. All right, I think that's about it. Yeah. All right, that's all I got in this game. We look at the team stats, I think. Is there anything more I have? Nope. Insanity's about to strike, so get ready. But, yeah, Niners outgained him in yardage. I don't really see anything too concerning outside of, again, maybe the rushing yards against for the Niners. But other than that, solid win by the Niners, holding on against the team you should beat. And now let's get to the game that, again, was just absolute, like, what?
It's the home opener for Dak and the Cowboys in a classic matchup as they take on the New York Giants. Third down and a quarter of the field. Wilson lofts one down the middle, right. Robinson with a perfect catch. Fights his way down to the 2. Self catching passes off the Jugs machine. Here he is behind the defense from Prescott. Inside the 40 from the 29, a first down throw. Look at end zone. There's Malik Neighbors. There's a touchdown for New York. Flag flies, free play, end zone. Turpin, touchdown Cowboys. Second half more so far today, a little bit sluggish. Prescott off his back foot into coverage. It is Drew Phillips, and Phillips. First down from the 30, handoff to Javonte Williams, squeezed his way through, end zone ahead, Dallas takes the lead. Now for the Giants defense down to their third man, inside linebacker, blown coverage right here, and Darius Slayton takes advantage. Scadaboo still at running back. He's got it straight ahead for the New York touchdown, and his first in the NFL. Second and goal. Sanders again with a seam and a touchdown, untouched in for the lead. Wilson going end zone, Robinson, perfect throw, touchdown New York. Comes to the clock, and so they run it. Javonte Williams has room to the outside. He hurdles inside the 10 where it's first and goal.
Resulting in a touchdown.
It's a pass, end zone, Pickens, touchdown Dallas.
Yep.
Wilson protected, heaving one, wants Neighbors, Malik Neighbors, touchdown Giants! He dropped it in the bucket! And win this thriller.
No.
Aubrey got it into overtime and now wins it!
And the Cowboys survive in a similar fashion to what they did back in 2020 as they win in overtime with a 40-37 absolute shootout. As the Giants, on top of a 21-point fourth quarter and a 450 career yardage game from Russell Wilson, fall to 0-2 once again. They have not won in Dallas since 2016. They have not beaten Dak Prescott since 2016. Dak Prescott has won 14 straight versus the Giants. That is now the second longest streak in NFL history, only behind Bobby Greasy, who did that to the Bills 17 straight times from 1968 to 1979. Pause. But for the Giants, they're going to be hosting Sunday Night Football in their opener next week. They'll probably lose that, but they didn't really show too much from this one. Cowboys, though, I'm joking. There's a lot of stuff that happened. Your defense sucks, but your offense is really freaking good. That's what I came away with this one, because the Giants' defense isn't that bad, but they were gassed. The Cowboys physically wore them down, and again, they have the best kicker in football too. But they now move to 1-1, get their first win on the year. They will be. They got the Bears next week in the game. They got to win by a lot, hopefully. Not for me or for anyone, but that's probably what's going to happen for the sake of them, I guess. Anyway, though, for the Giants, Russ cooked until that pick. There was really no excuse for that. That was about as bad as a decision you could have made. Literally just throw it anywhere but there, and they would have had a shot. Yeah, honestly, what the F was he doing on that play? Move the ball underneath. That's all you need to do. They really just needed a field goal. Get it to the 50-yard line. Not the 50-yard line. Get to a 50-yard field goal, and they would have won this one. Again, I don't really know what Russ was trying to do there. Again, I understand do for 450 yards was thrown over that terrible Cowboys secondary, but that was about as bad as it gets for a decision there. Russ career high for passing yards. Scadabo is by far their best running back. I'm just gonna say that right now. Get him as many carries as possible. He is that offense. Again, Tyrone Tracy, you're not. Just about it there. Neighbors might be the most talented wide receiver in the NFL. I think that is fair to say. He had an absolute, just wild game. I mean, there's not, again, I understand the secondary side, but there's really not that many guys in the NFL that could ever, even consider, taking over a game the way he did. But he did, and it was just every play wide the heck open, or he just completely blew by everybody. Yeah. What else do we have? D can't be blamed. They were on the field way too long. I mean, the time possession guys, no, they were gassed. That just can't happen. Other than that, though, Wandale was an actual downfield threat for the first time in his career. Last year was kind of a meme that he always caught the ball but didn't do anything after that. In this game, he kind of proved everyone wrong as he ran around everybody. Darius Slayton also caught a long ball. The moon ball was out. But Daybell and Phillips, For the secondary, played very well. Again, I understand the end of the game wasn't great, but both those guys really just straight up troopers for this defense. Pass rush struggled to coordinate despite the pressure rates being very good. Yeah, I don't really know what's going on there. There just wasn't really timely pressure, and there was just some plays where certain guys just really weren't again approaching their adjustments the greatest either. Again, I think it's pass rush coordinator. Get one of those. Yeah, haven't won all that. NFC teams that are 0-2 haven't made the playoffs since the Giants did in 07. Again, they won the Super Bowl that year. And again, the Cowboys, I just wanted to put this out there. The Cowboys did it in 03 or 93. And they also won the Super Bowl that year. So again, Cowboys did. Giants did last, and they were 0-2. Made the playoffs. They both won the Super Bowl. Just a good thing. No, again, don't expect the Giants to do that. But for the Cowboys, Dak came up big. Yeah, that's the best way to put it, guys. Dak is just a different guy against this team. And again, he threw for a lot of yards, obviously, but the more important thing is the fact that on film, he was just dominating the middle of the field. And when it wasn't open, he didn't have to take it. I love the run game identity being physicality. Yeah, that is how this running game is going to really run. I don't think, obviously, but I don't think it's going to really be any sort of like displacement up front consistently. It's got to be like a guy like Javonte Williams who actually looked the best has looked since his rookie year back in 2021, where he's just basically dislodging guys and just consistently breaking arm tackles. Miles Sanders in a similar vein, maybe in a little bit of a different way, though. Then we look at CeeDee Lamb serving as a mass role in this one, and it was the reason they won. Yeah, he didn't really get targeted maybe at the volume you might have thought. Yeah, not just 112 yards, but he could have gotten targeted at least 16 or 17 times. The way they used him was trying to get other guys open in big spots, and that was exactly what happened. It was, again, very good on his part. Why isn't Turpin returning? I was very confused in that. They probably would have won the game earlier. That Giants such team was a little bit spotty. Secondary had serious problems. Yeah, they're absolute burnt toast. There's really no way around it. Malik Hooker was really the only guy that was consistently out there, but at the same time, he really wasn't reading the ball whatsoever either. So yeah, it was just very bizarre, and it was just an absolute horrid performance there as well. Osa got quadrupled on 3 plays. That was actually pretty funny to watch. And it was more miscommunication than on his part, but that's what I got there. And Pastors was on and off at times. And I mean off, they were really off. They were also on sometimes, so I guess they had that too. But yeah, James Hudson, shout out to you, Giants fans. Again, four penalties in 1 drive, you got benched and all that. And he was angry. That was funny. Anyway, though, he was probably the worst game of the early window, and maybe even the whole day.
Jets quarterback Justin Fields played well in his debut last week, but the Jets lost to a 60-yard field goal at the end. Meantime, the field goal for the Bills won it after the epic comeback was engineered by Josh Allen, and it came down to 1 last kick.
Look at leaping through the pressure, and Allen has the first down, and he's off and running. Switches hands with the football to deliver the stiff arm. It's Cook. Threatened to go outside, cut inside, touchdown. For Fields. The pass play is not there, so he takes off and fumbles the football. It is recovered by Buffalo.
It went back out there, but expect.
Wide open. The defender fell down, and that's off and running with Elijah Moore. The lead near midfield. They're going to go for it.
Fullback or halfback?
How about Allen? They got a 1st and goal, and they hand it off. The former Jet is in. Elijah Moore.
Yep, good ourselves.
4th down. Pass to the goal line, and it is caught for the touchdown.
There you go,
Jeremy Ruckert.
There's really not too much to talk about this game, guys. I'll try to be as quick as possible. Really what happened was Josh Allen got kind of knocked in the nose. He kind of bled everywhere. They kind of popped it back in place, and then he was good to go, and they ended up blowing out the Jets 30-10. Josh Allen didn't even need to play after in the last 8 minutes. That's how bad this game was. The Jets couldn't move the ball whatsoever. They fall to 0-2. They will be heading to Tampa next week against a Bucs team that at least right now looks pretty darn good. Bills are not pretty darn good. They look good. Bills, yeah, about as good as a start as you could have wanted after that. Again, come back last week. They just completely dismantled the Jets, and they will have a very fun game against the Dolphins next week on Thursday Night Football, which they hope to blow them out in. In terms of notes, Josh really wasn't even that good in this one, but he didn't need to be. Run the ball at will. Yeah, they did run the ball at will. James Cook had a field day, 44-yard touchdown as well. I highlighted it. Ray Davis, I guess, wasn't that efficient, but he looked fine to me. Ty Johnson also 2 carries as well. No one receiver was asked to do a whole lot of anything. Yeah, none of these, again, outside that, was a 34-yard, something like that catch from Josh Farmer. No one was really asked to do much at all. Elijah Moore, I think it was a garbage time catch, if I'm not mistaken. Defense was very condensed, and I guess it worked. I didn't really get the strat there, but again, they only gave 10 points, and the touchdown they gave up was in garbage time. And yeah, the pass rush ate up. Like, they were just absolutely just destroying the Jets O-line. For the Jets, though, yeah, they're not good. The whole offense didn't function. Again, Justin Fields, before he got like concussed and all that, was about as atrocious of a passer as you could have thought of. The running game was bad. The receivers, again, like I said, Garrett Wilson is their only like actual NFL wide receiver now. Arian Smith, get out of here, bro. Garrett Wilson's their only guy, and that's one of the reasons, again, that this offense was so bad in this one. O-line got shredded. Poor tackling as well for this defense. That was just, again, it was really pissed me off. Ticked me off with that one. And then the corners didn't do anything either. Again, I think that was more of the fact they didn't really get targeted too much, but at the same time, they did not have a good game. Jets were really able to muster up 154 yards of offense. I was actually kind of shocked the Bills got over 400, but again, that's what happens during the football for 224 yards. Good one time possession, but for the Bills, really nothing much else to this one, guys. See you for each of these teams' matchups next week. Now let's get into our later window where all three of these games were bonkers in some ways. Maybe not the last one, though.
From Indianapolis, CBS Sports presents the National Football League. Today, Bryant was in the backfield, first and 10, caught for a touchdown! Marvin Mims, acrobatic move! It's third down and 2 out of the backfield. Taylor on the move. He's chased by Surtain and Singleton and Hufanga. Second down goal, Jones again, the dive, the push, the climb, the touchdown! Colts 4 or 5 through the air. McClinchy trying to block. Here comes the rush from Lewis. Downfield, he's down. What a grab!
Hands full here inside the 5.
Second down goal. That's a touchdown. Franklin, why not? 9 of 16 through the air. Warren gets the handoff. Dives. And he did not get it. Down shy of the first. To the air. Block McClinchy. End zone. Caught. Touchdown. They've done it again. Troutman. Third touchdown pass.
So they've been dialed in on trying to limit him.
First and 10. Jones going deep. Oh, he's got him. He's got Pierce. He's caught. Drag Moss. One timeout, Indy. Had to take it there because of the injury. Timeout inside 2 minutes. It's Taylor who walks in. Touchdown. Second down, 1. Here's a Dobbins run. Fultz into the end zone. Touchdown, Denver. Ooh. Jones to the air, blitzes out. Here comes Ellis. Incomplete. Denver's defense holds. Down 3. Knicks to the air. The time, the throw, wobbly, and picked off. Intercepted by Bynum. Daniel Jones. And to this end was written 60, 63, 61. This is 42. The upright.
Standing on the corner, I could listen.
Oh, baby. This game, this was just crazy. Just the energy from the Colts fans this one, just shout out to them, guys. They were in on this game the entire way, despite the Broncos pulling away at different points, not really fully, but still. But obviously, though, this game came down to the fact that the Broncos just don't look like a really solid NFL team right now. They're just not playing well, just the best way to put it. Next week isn't going to get any easier. They got the Chargers on the road. But for the Colts, no one could have saw them getting out to 2-0 in this fashion. They have not punted yet. They're the first teams in the Super Bowl era to ever do that in their first 2 games. They scored in their first 10 drives as well. They're now 2-0. They have the Titans next week on the road, which could get them to 3-0 before they have to travel to LA in what should be a fun matchup, hopefully. But yeah, Colts did get bailed out, obviously, to win this game, but at the same time, they deserved to win this one as well. They didn't really try to get out of it at all. But again, the Broncos simply blew this one, and again, that's probably gonna reflect later. But for the Broncos, Bo is making too many crucial mistakes. I'm not saying bench him or he sucks, but that pick was just not. You can't make that play. And there were some of those reads or sort of like progressions he had just straight up weren't correct. I don't think it was like completely his fault either. But there were some plays like, what the hell is he doing? It wasn't good football. Other than that though, questionable call by Sean Payton not going for 2, up 20-13. Again, a lot of people just say take the extra point. You're up by 8 points. You got to get a touchdown, 2-point conversion. I say no to that. Make it a 2-score game. If you don't get the 2-point conversion, still a 7-point game, guys. Again, unless it's like late in the game. Even then, like I'd still say go for the 2-point conversion. It's still a touchdown game. And even extra points aren't completely guaranteed. So That is what I'd say on that. I always prefer going for 2. Again, that was my preference, so it's not the end of the world, kind of nitpicking there. But I think that would have helped them in this game. They don't look good. Like I said, just don't look like a good football team right now. D was incredibly undisciplined in the boundary. What the hell were they doing, guys? There were several plays Jonathan Taylor got in the boundary. Did not know what they were doing taking on those blocks. That is really the only reason that Jonathan Taylor had such a monster game. Running game was astronomically inconsistent. They had a play they were good, play they were bad. Jacob Adams overall didn't have a terrible game, but R.J. Harvey definitely did. He just could not get out of the backfield to save his life. And then Tyler Beatty also got carried to the boot. The penalty is a reflection of the first 2 games. Yeah, that kind of just tells you everything about how this team's playing right now. They got to step it up next week, though. That's all I'll say there. Surtain looked off. He didn't have a bad game. Like, the coverage rate isn't going to be anything bad like that. But he just really wasn't the same impactful guy that we've seen, or really over the past 3, his entire career. Franklin and Mims need to continue separation if this offense will work. Those are the 2 guys that they have to predicate on consistently getting open. Obviously, Cortland Sutton, who did not have a good game, will be the number 1 guy. But those other 2 guys have to get open consistently. That's how this offense will have any sort of ceiling. Again, Troy Franklin, nice play on that, improv from Bo Nix. All right, for the Colts. Indiana Jones might have something. I'm not going to act like this team's going to be like some Super Bowl contender or anything, but Daniel Jones simply is playing good ball right now. And until that changes, I don't know what to tell you guys. He's going to play well. JT went wild. Could this be his best, his blast of the past 2022? Me personally wouldn't go that far, but again, some people would. So, I guess you have that. Pittman didn't look good. This guy, he got locked up. 4 catches for 40 yards, cool, but wasn't great. O-line was always stressed to get a better pocket. That is fair. They were consistently trying to do that, which I liked a lot. But yeah, Pierce continues to make his big plays. That is fair to mention as well, especially at the end of the half there. Maybe no 60-yard field goal next week. I love you, Spencer, but that's a little too far for you. Cam Bynum is the best. Yeah, those dances are something if he gets, I'm not saying he's going to pick next week, but those are fun to watch. Secondary might be honest something. Again, they're not the most talented by any means, but I think there's definitely something there, especially with how Mekhi Blackman played later in the game. Edge rushers are waking up. They had a very solid game. Again, I understand they technically didn't have a sack, but the pressure was there, and they were definitely influencing what Bo Nix was doing, especially in his processing and timing, at least in his head. Beachy and McGrone had great eye discipline. That's part of the reason the run defense wasn't, again, completely terrible at times. 2-0 for the first time since 2009 as well. That's actually crazy. Other than that, though, that is all I got here. Again, Tyler Warren's 4th down stop ended that streak of drives without scoring. But anyway, 473 yards of offense with the Colts. They won the turnover battle as well. That is a good way to win a football game despite getting bailed out. Hopefully they win next week. I actually do mean that. But Broncos, yeah, you got to figure some things out. Now let's get to a game that was way too close.
We welcome you to Glendale, Arizona, and the NFL on CBS. The Carolina Panthers have arrived in the desert. Receivers McMillan, but they give chase. Football is loose. What's the call here? Is that a live football? Touchdown! 2 under Gannon in Philly. Here they come on 3rd and 11. Young is blown up, and it is picked. Oh my! Intercepted by Browning. Fast. Instead they drop back. They rush 4. Murray back in the end zone. Touchdown! Michael Wilson. Gaines, one of the backup linemen, lines up as a fullback. Connor had the lead blocker he needed, and he bangs it in. And at their own 24. See Baker, Young to the edge, fires end zone. He finds Renfro. Ooh, that coach. Well, here comes Roseboom, shot out of a cannon. What a play by Murray. A magic trick. No way. Look at Murray. He's gone. 3rd and 3. Murray again, the escape artist. Will they get a hand on him? And was that picked? Yes, it was. Option threat. Here they come. Bryce. Buying time finds Hubbard. 2-point try. Hubbard not going to get there. 2-point try will make it a 4-point game. Young slinging it. Renfro for the Carolina touchdown. So Martin, the vet, looking for some English play. Touch the Cardinals player, and the Panthers have it. Get out of here. Young, does he have some late game magic? Young buying some time. Can't get it out. It's loose. Arizona catches 100 yards on 4th down. Young sacked. And it's Calais Campbell.
And the Panthers travels in adventures to Arizona. They got in the side quest in the fourth quarter, down third quarter, down 27-3, and decided to make it a close game. Their last drive, they were lifeless on offense, could not move the football upfield. None of the receivers getting open downfield. But again, thanks to a bunch of penalties, they actually almost won that game, as well as their first recovered onside kick since 2015. In the divisional round against the Seahawks. It was actually 2016. My bad, though. Panthers fall 0-2, though. Bryce Young has now lost at least his first 2 starts in all 3 of his seasons now. At least this year, he's looked better than those 2 years. So I'll say that, especially, again, really not, though, again, if you take away those end of the third quarter and the fourth quarter. So that's what I'll say there. But again, they fall 0-2. They will be hosting the Falcons next week in what will probably be a tough game, at least offensively. Cardinals, good 2-0 start, but they didn't play 2 cupcakes. You're going to have to step it up against the Niners next week in San Francisco. With that said, though, solid home opening win there. Bryce Young could have rolled over into a ball and started the 0-2 start season, like I said. Instead, it still happened because, again, they lost. But he put this team in a much better spot. Then he left them last year in week 2 when he, of course, got benched, and the Panthers looked like the worst team in NFL history. Chuba was scrappy, and he's gonna need to continue to be. Yeah, again, I think that's how this running game is gonna work. And it wasn't like he was, again, statistically great, but he was definitely scrappy. Then Rico Dowdle, I don't know, again, 6 carries for 9 yards, nice, but, like, realistically, he's going to have to be better than that. Ted is the only downfield threat. That's just simple truth there. Hunter Renfrow, you're not going to ask to do that despite him having 2 touchdowns. And, yeah, like, Bryson Tremaine, like, what are we doing here? But, yeah, Ted McMillan, again, had a great game. Moen and Ekwonu actually couldn't block. Yeah, they had a bad, those guys. Both their tackles struggled in this one. That might have been their best defensive performance since 2022 as well. Again, I'm not saying they were awesome overall, but there were a lot of plays where they just completely shut things down. And I can say props to them for that. And also, yeah, just shout out the Cardinals overall for not for Panthers for not rolling over and dying. Rolling over and dying. All right, for the Cardinals though, reminded me of the 2023 game versus the Giants where they blew a 28-7 lead, but they are a better team than that than they were that year, which is part of the reason they didn't lose this. Yeah, again, too many penalties though. MHJ and Kyler still haven't put together, again, a great chemistry, and that's part of the reason he has not put together 2 back-to-back good games yet in his career. Running game wasn't spearheaded the way it'll need to be next week. Yeah, if they don't run the ball more angrily, if there's a good adjective for that next week, they will probably not have much success on offense. Outside of that, though, secondary was unlocked. They were pretty good. And then, yeah, where was the base passers? I'm not talking about, like, all like the Magoo-Fanoofin and all that. I'm talking about, like, they're just straight up rush for, see what happens. Because that just wasn't there this week. Josh Sweat did play well, though. Good game from Chad Ryland. Team stats, Panthers had all that yardage. Good win for them. They got to run the ball better next week. And hopefully these teams put on good performances next week. 2 turnovers, though, from the Panthers. We're all costly again, considering Bryce Young pooped the ball out of his butt on that first play. And then, again, that interception was pretty ugly as well. But Kyle threw one, too. So, you know, that's kind of how it balances out. With all that said, though, yeah, the Cardinals, they were lucky to win this one. Now let's get to, yeah, I guess it was supposed to be the best game today.
America's Game of the Week. It's a Super Bowl rematch of the defending champion Eagles taking on the Kansas City Chiefs, and we're moments away from kickoff where the Chiefs have won.
Here's Barker from 58. This is up, and it's pushed wide right. Here's Barkley right side, sprinting through the hole. Saquon Barkley is in. Touchdown, Philadelphia. Mahomes, pressure throws. Great catch, Kelsey. Somehow picked it up. Here's Mahomes, looking around. Pressure, he can run it if he wants. You know what he wants. Mahomes looking for the end zone. Touchdown. They will go handoff. He is stopped. The Eagles defense makes a stand. Hurts still has pressure. Looking around. Oh my, what a hit that was. There's Mahomes, gives it to the up man. Hunt has got it. Kareem. Blitz. Mahomes over the middle. Oh, it's picked off. It's Makuba who's got it. And room to run. Here comes the blitz. Hurts loaded up, going deep for Devontae Smith. He's got it! Smith inside the 5. Hurts shoving his way in. He's in! Touchdown, Philadelphia. Pressure this time, but it's picked up. Mahomes loaded up, going deep. Has Thornton again. This time he's got it! Touchdown! 3rd and 1. Push, Hurts forward. He's got the first down.
And even more disappointing than the Giants' loss, I don't know. The Eagles moved to 2-0 once again as they take care of the Chiefs, 20-17. They didn't really look good at all in this one, but they still won because of the Eagles. They have the Rams next week at home, and they're going to have to play better, or they're going to get their butts kicked. Anyway, though, Chiefs, they fought 0-2. Hopefully not 0-3. Mahomes loses 3 straight, again, technically for the first time in his career. Chiefs haven't been 0-2 since 2014. They went 9-7 that year. Last time they missed the playoffs. They are not at risk as much because I'm not even that concerned about them. The fact that Rashid Rice and Xavier Worthy are not out there is part of the reason this offense looks like the Rams did last year when they were without Puka and Cooper Kupp. But they're 0-2, and they got to figure things out. With that said, though, for the Eagles, Jalen Hurts is not a good passing quarterback. Pretty simply, first 2 games has not been a good passer. If it wasn't for that one heave to Devontae Smith, this entire passing game would not have been functional. Saquon, a generous 4 yards per carry, nice touchdown though, and then Jalen, tush push and all that. Anyway, for the Eagles, they are fake. Watch out for them next week how they play against the Rams. Other than that though, Saquon hasn't been good since the Rams game. Oh, I guess so. You could say that. I mean, he was pretty good in the NFC Championship. Again, the Commanders' defense is not good. Makuba is a dynamic disaster. He had a fun game, but there were a lot of plays where I'm like, what the hell is he doing? But at the same time, he had a pick. He had a half sack. He did a lot of good things. But at the same time, like I said, there were some very bizarre plays from him as well. Quinyon and DeJean were not in Super Bowl form in this one. They were kind of just not locked in. That's the best way to put it. D-line had a game and a half. Yeah, they were phenomenal in this one. They just completely, again, dictated that line of scrimmage. For the Chiefs, offense never truly got going. I think that's the best way to put it because Travis Kelce, outside of that drop, really wasn't had his worst game. Tyquan Thornton was really the only downfield threat, though, again, with that touchdown. Hollywood Brown got completely locked up. And then Mahomes without his rushing, really, this offense is just not good as you can get. Thornton might be the wide receiver one right now. That's just crazy. Where was the run game? Why didn't they use it? Crazy to say, but they already have more L's than they had all last year with Mahomes as the starting quarterback. Yeah, because they went 15-1 with him. That's actually crazy when you look back at that. But that's what happens when you lose 1-score games. They won 17 straight, NFL record going into going into the kickoff game last week, or the home opener the Sal Powell game last week. Now they lost back-to-back 1-score games. Other than that, though, D wasn't making things happen, but it was stable. Again, I think that's fair to say that they can be a little bit better, but I wouldn't be too mad about it if they stay like this. Kelce drop was brutal. Mahomes' deep accuracy is awful. Again, he can't throw the ball deep right now. I don't really know what it is, and I do know what it is. He has just not really been the same deep ball passer for a while now, but really, it was not good in this one. Karlaftis didn't get to use his bend the way he wanted. Second home opening loss in the last 3 seasons as well, considering they lost the kickoff game in 2023 as well. But for the Chiefs, Karlaftis he could have been better if there's a way to put that. He definitely didn't have his best game. With that said, though, this was not the worst game of the week. It was definitely wasn't one of the best. But now let's get to a game that definitely could be the worst.
What a gorgeous late summer Sunday night in downtown Minneapolis, and what a scene inside. Oh, they're going to go for it. Surge through and get a push from Jones. And the fake by Penix, and the throw is caught. Spinning is London. Lost the football. Vikings have it. On the bounce, scooped up by Theo.
Hate those hits.
Play action here. Protected for the moment. And that throw is intercepted if inbounds. Land up bringing 5. McCarthy trying to load up and throw down the middle. There's Jefferson. JJ to the 33-yard line with another ball. Not starting like that. Ball's out. And recovered by Divine Diablo. Second and goal. And Algier walks into the end zone for the game's first touchdown.
And the Falcons behind their best defensive performance since 2020, in which, again, in that game, they held the Raiders to 6 points in a 43-6 win in Week 12 of 2020. They knock off the Vikings 22-6. They move to 1-1, get a much-deserved win. They will be heading to Carolina next week to take on the Panthers, try to get a winning record again. Again, good start like last year. Vikings, that was not a good performance. J.J. McCarthy's out 2 to 4 weeks, and that is just not good. But again, this was an offensive performance that I kind of saw coming in this one. I was kind of pissed the Falcons won, but that's really besides the point. Vikings, you lost your quarterback, and I guess that's not good, but I don't know. Figure it out, maybe. That's probably a thing. But anyway, they got the Bengals at home next week. Back in quarterback battle, as I talked about in the Bengals game as well. I want to be pretty quick here again, wrapping this thing up. If you've watched this entire recap, thank you for doing that. But I want to make this quick for you guys. Penix, up the accuracy, actually lost the ball, sort of. There were definitely some throws. I'm like, maybe he did a little better. But overall, it was pretty serviceable in this one, despite not maybe the most outlandish statistics. Bijan is the number 1 running back in the NFL. He went off. He really just did whatever he wanted. Tyler Algier did as well. Our receivers ran great routes. No one really consistently got completely open, but all the routes were very precise and on time. O-line was stagnant. They weren't bad, obviously. They were just completely dominated the run. But especially in pass pro, I don't think they were always the most giddy off the line, which isn't a bad thing. First time a lot, I talked about that. Raheem had a very well-coached game. I like what he did. Wasn't really trying to push the envelope or anything like that. Again, in the right situations. And then secondary was shut down as well. They completely dominated this game. Xavier Watts had a pick. Billy Bowman. Both those guys are huge playmakers. And the whole D-line just was phenomenal. Had 6 sacks. They were just a different group in this one. Meanwhile, for the Vikings, Jaden McCarthy got injured. He had a swollen ankle most of the game. He sucked, though. That's the best way to put it. Justin Jefferson struggled with timing with JJ. I don't think that was completely on JJ, though, because he at least was putting the ball in the right space. I just don't think Justin really ran the greatest routes in this one. Aaron Jones and Jordan Mason looked stuck in the mud. Neither of them had very good games. While the D needs to be more consistent, the whole D does. That is fair to say. No one really played awesome in this one, even though they held the 5 field goals for most of the game. Jordan Addison is needed because they don't have an X receiver. Jalen Naylor, you're not the dude, bro. I'm sorry. You're a good third guy, but it's an X. It's a little bit shaky. Byron Murphy struggled in zone. Yeah, that was definitely a little bit uncomfortable. It was a little bit of a gray area for him overall. Yardage-wise, neither team really moved the ball that well. Shout out to the Falcons for being respectable on third down. But that is all I got for you guys in this one. 4 turnovers by the Vikings fuel the Falcons defensively minded win. They got the win there. And I'll see you guys for the Monday Night Football recap tomorrow. And also Power Rings coming up as well. Thank you for watching, though. And see ya.
Rolling right. What's he got? Maddox lets it fly.